So we're back here at the National Franchise Exhibition and I'm joined by Mark. Thanks for joining us, Mark. If you want to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your business.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks for having me on, Adam. My name's Mark Whitwood. I'm the founder of the Active Sports Group. We're a children's activity provider, so we're literally exhibiting next door here on the Lifestyle Pavilion with other children's activity providers that are here down in Birmingham for the weekend.
Amazing. And what's the primary kind of focus of the business? Is it all sports? Is it focusing on certain sports?
Yeah, it's evolved somewhat. So the business next year will actually be celebrating its 20th year since it began, but it has changed an awful lot during those 20 years. It was firstly introduced as Active Soccer, as a football-only coaching company back in 2005. That was myself that was out there delivering in schools and offering after-school clubs and holiday camps and birthday parties, all with a football theme to it. The business has, like I say, somewhat changed now, and we have a multi-offering in terms of what we do and what we provide. So we do a lot of work in primary schools, mainly through sport, helping with the curriculum activities, the after-school clubs, wraparound care now. We'll help schools with intervention programmes. So there's a whole host of like different sort of programmes and services that we offer, but ultimately the core theme with that is providing activities for young children that are in a fun, healthy and an inclusive setting.
Amazing. And how many franchisees do you have around the country?
So we've got 15 franchises at the moment in the UK, and we have one in Ireland as well. So our overseas element, if you like, with the Irish franchise is now in its 14th, 15th month, and that's going really well. So Owen over there is working with sort of 6 primary school partnerships in his local community in South Dublin. But yeah, we've got 15 franchises at the moment.
Amazing. And what's a typical profile of the franchisee? What kind of people does the franchise kind of suit? Is there particular kind of skills that people have that come into it, or?
Yeah, I'm sure. I think for me, I think that goes for anybody that's like at a show here today looking to work with any of the franchisors. You've got to have that passion for the brand that you want to work with. And for us, obviously working with young people, young children, ideally if you're coming from a background, perhaps like within our network at the moment, there's examples of people that have been in education, that have been teachers, that have perhaps fallen out of love with the education system, but their passion is working with young people. However, they haven't run a business before, so that for us is a sort of ideal sort of franchisee. Graduates that have been on sports and teaching courses at university, again, that perhaps would like to go and set up their own business working with young people rather than going into the teaching route. Again, it's the sort of ideal like franchise that we look for. So ideally, for us, the franchisee needs to be somebody that's going to be delivering the programmes and services in the first instance, not a management-based franchise. It's really important that they get immersed in their local community. Perhaps they're already involved with some schools or some grassroots settings which will help them start the business quite quickly. Somebody that's definitely a practitioner is an ideal fit for our business.
And then through the kind of life cycle of being a franchisee, do you have franchisees that go on from being a kind of practitioner on to being more of a kind of management style franchise? Is that how the model works, or does it remain?
Yeah, absolutely. I was discussing that on one of the panels sort of early this morning. It's how do you manage the growth of a franchisee really, and what that looks like. And the point there that I had to make this morning, and the key to that is the recruitment side of things really. And I going back and looking at it from when I first started the business, the model was built on me going out and working with X number of schools or venues in my local community. At the point I'd got that sustainable, it was then picking that up and moving the delivery to another area within the territory. So we work with Atlas Mapping to develop the franchise territories, and we'll discuss all that with new franchisees in terms of what their area looks like and what that growth could look like over 12, 24, 36 months and how you go about doing that. But when you've obviously got to a level where all your classes are full and your week is full as well, it's very difficult then to split yourself in two and start grow in other areas because you're just so busy. And obviously all your customer base are very loyal to you as well. They want you to be at every session, and you have to take the step then. It's deciding, do you want to grow the business, grow your franchise? And at that point, that's where you start to step back and the recruitment side comes in, and it's making sure then that you're getting another person that can work with you in the business, perhaps as a head coach in our sector, that can then have that responsibility of either continuing the work that you've set up where you started the franchise, or you employ them to go and work in the new territory, part of the territory that you want to grow.
Yeah.
But yeah, recruitment's key really for the growth.
Amazing.
Sorry, Ed, to answer the bit that you said though, can they then like sort of transition into a management side? Yeah, absolutely. So because the business has been going so long, we actually do have a franchisee within our network, or franchisees. They manage it together, Leon and Darren, who have been working with us for 15 years now. Wow. So they've got a massive team of staff, like 14 full-time coaches and people that are running various clubs all around Egham and Staines and that area in Surrey. So they still do some delivery. They're just so passionate about working with young people. But for them, yeah, it's changed massively. Like they were doing that day-to-day delivery, whereas now, like, it's much more of a management franchise for them.
That's amazing as well. I mean, not very often within the children's activity space do you hear franchisees growing to that kind of scale. So that's a real advantage of what you kind of offer as well.
Yeah, I think, I resonate with what you're saying there, because just because of the longevity we've had within the sector and sort of new opportunities that have arisen for us, it's enabled us to look at like how we can grow our franchisees' turnover really, and that's through the different services that we can offer. So an example of that would be that we work with local authorities now much more than we used to sort of 10 years ago, where they may have tenders that come up for bikeability contracts, swimming contracts, holiday club provisions, and because we've built our skill set and our support team to be able to help service those contracts, we've been winning some of those now with local authorities, and that's really added strength into like our franchisees' business, that they can then go and secure sort of 1, 2, 3 year contracts with their local authority and deliver schemes on their behalf as well, and that really adds much more security into their business, if you like.
Yeah, absolutely. And what does it always kind of fascinates me, and I think if I was a potential franchisee walking around the show, the one thing that I'd always think is, if I did invest in this franchise, what would my typical day look like? And it's kind of often hard to kind of get that across within your marketing about the franchise, but if someone's leaving a job, they're going to be very interested in actually what will I be doing day to day, what will a typical day look like. So for a franchisee, I suppose, at those initial maybe year, what does a typical day or week look like? What kind of things will they be doing? What are the activities like? And then maybe through the life cycle, a bit more up to a management franchisee, how that might change as well?
Yeah, sure. Well, so when we start speaking to a potential new franchisee, we obviously look at like their current situation as well, and what that looks like. Are they currently working full time? Are they finishing education? Have they just left some employment? And that's very much a factor of us building that initial phase of the business plan with them, because it's making sure that if you are going to go and start a business, you've got to allow yourself the time to be able to do that as well. Otherwise, you're going to find it much more challenging. So we'll spend sort of that period of 3 to 6 months, it can be, from when somebody first inquires about the franchise to the launch point, that we make sure that they're actually going to start their business with some business there to walk into. And that then helps answer the question that you asked, like, what does the typical day of a franchisee look like? And for us, it would therefore then be going out and delivering the sessions. As I said, we look for franchisees that in the first year at least would be the person that would be out there doing the majority of the delivery. So you'd imagine that like 60 to 70% of their week would be out there delivering with their local community in schools or running the classes, etc. And then allowing sort of the rest of the time to be working on your admin, your socials, you're building your lead generation and everything for future months really.
Yeah. Amazing. And what's the kind of future plans for the brand and the franchise?
We're keen to obviously keep enhancing and growing the network, but at the same time, it's got to. We're happy to grow slowly as well. It's making sure that we meet the right people that want to start the business. They've got the shared same values as we have at the Active Sports Group, but also sort of key to us as well at the moment with the 15 franchises that we have is that they're doing well as well, and that's really important to us. There's no point us having sort of 75 franchises within our network if only 10 or 12 of them are doing well. So for us, it's key to continue to work with the network that we have and make sure that their businesses are constantly developing as well. And as existing franchisees, you can see that their revenue streams are building. But yeah, no, we're 20 years next year. We're still as hungry as ever. We're, as an organisation, and the people that are within our support team, we're so massively passionate about what we do and working with young people. So we'll keep innovating, we'll keep pivoting, we'll keep working and delivering new schemes and activities, and just making sure that we're hopefully getting more children participating and enjoying physical activity and sport, and what that does for them to sort of help both improve their well-being and mental health. That for us is sort of the key to it all, really. And if we're doing that right, then I think everything else will follow.
Yeah, it's a hell of an amazing mission to have as well. It's probably never been more needed than it is now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are in a crisis, in particular. I hate saying it, but following the pandemic, still that young people are still massively struggling, and it's so evident in schools and with head teachers I speak to with mental health, and there's an obesity crisis as well at the moment, and it's trying to educate children and families on how we can better all work together to help decrease that, because our next generations, we want them to be healthier, living healthier. It'll have a less impact on the country as well if we're building young people that are going to have more sustainable health and well-being in the future. That for us is the mission, really. If we can keep trying to make some small difference with all the people that we work with, that for us is brilliant, really. Then, yeah.
Cool. Mark, I have some quick-fire questions, if that's okay.
Sure, yeah.
You haven't been pre-told these, so you can take your time to think of an answer. But if you were going to become a franchisee of any other brand, which obviously probably isn't the ambition, but if there was any other brand or sector you would look to invest in franchising, what would that be?
That's a tough question.
If you can't think of a particular brand, maybe like a sector that would.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna go with Ryan at Tesla, because ultimately what they do as well is helping people through recruitment, but working in healthcare. Like I say, that's always been a passion. That is my passion, is working with other people and helping people. And I think sort of the ethos and what they do within their business sort of is quite aligned with my thoughts, really. So
I'm sure he'll be delighted to hear that. He'll probably be trying to throw a franchise agreement your way later on, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
So, who in the sector do you admire or are inspired by within the franchise sector?
Do you know what? It'd be hard to say sort of one particular person or one organisation, really. I think for those that don't know the franchising world, it's a great place, and I've personally got more involved over the last sort of 12-18 months as well with that, and I'm seeing people today that perhaps I've not actually met face to face before, but we've spoken a number of times and we're aware of, and the community is fantastic. So I think there's so many good ambassadors for franchising here right now at the NEC that I admire everyone really that's here, because they're all offering great products, great services, great support and advice, and helping people that want to go and become a business owner, make that dream reality with some fantastic businesses here that can help do that for them.
Yeah, and I think I often kind of wonder why the community is such a nice community to be part of, and I think a lot of it is the nature of being a franchisor and working in franchising is you want other people to succeed. Yeah, that is the role
Ultimately,
of the franchisor, isn't it? And
yeah.
I think because of that, the franchise sector is so collaborative. more so than, well, I don't know, I haven't walked into many other sectors, but it feels like it would be much more collaborative than most. But maybe that is just because that is the nature of a franchisor, like being collaborative and wanting others to be successful.
Yeah, and we want to. Everyone just wants to help each other, don't they?
Yeah.
And that's what franchising is about. Otherwise, you'd go and start a business on your own. It's about that communication piece. It's about working with other people, and that's key to it all. But like you say, yeah, absolutely, the franchise community are so good at sharing and helping each other. You know, like. Yes, it's great. It's full of some great people.
No, it is. Last question, which is it's a bit of $1 million question, and it'd be great if we had an answer for this. But if probably the one thing that everyone in the room and everyone in franchising would absolutely love was just the general awareness about what a brilliant sector it is and all of the opportunities that it offers people looking to start a business. What one thing do you think we could do as a sector better, or do you think we could do as a sector to raise the general awareness around franchising?
Interesting, yeah. Well, I was literally passing one of the main stage before, and Steph was on there from the BBC talking about franchising, and the actual sort of part of her speech that I managed to catch was her talking about she keeps putting requests into the BBC and the ITV to get a documentary or series about franchising, so she could showcase like what franchising is, build people's knowledge and understanding about it. So those that sort of perhaps maybe a bit scared by it or don't really understand it and have that education piece, she wants to try and get something televised that really like helps create even more awareness about not the obvious like big brands like McDonald's and Domino's that are obviously here today, but all of the other ways and sectors that you are within franchising that you can go and explore, because literally every business you can think of, there's probably a franchise for it as well. And I think that would be good. Like, it's, you know, I think when Pip was on The Apprentice, that was fantastic as well. So the more sort of people within the franchise community can share and put a voice out there and tell people about what it is and what amazing things can happen through franchising will help. But yeah, if there's a way of trying to get something on television, like Steph was saying, I think that could be huge, really, because it'd give opportunities for people like yourself who have been within the franchising sector for years and years and years, and you could share. And it's not just looking at the businesses; it's all the other organisations and support structures that there are, and platforms and businesses that are here today that support franchise networks as well. There's quite a lot to it, isn't there, really?
I think there. Yeah, I actually thought a few years back that a brilliant TV show would be like location, but you had someone that was interested in starting a business, and they had, let's say, a different investment level every week, and the show took them to go and see 3 different franchises.
I love that. Yeah.
They spent the day working with franchisees to find out what business suits them best, like location, but actually on a business show.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
And it feels like that would be, like, if you think of shows like The Apprentice and Dragon's Den, like, there is a real interest in business shows. Like, it feels like that would be a brilliant way to kind of showcase franchising.
I think so.
I might approach Steph and see if
go for it. I think that'd be great. And also, sort of what, you know, when you speak into prospective franchisees, or, you know, the geography, just thinking within the UK, is so vastly different. You've got people that would like to start a business in a dense, like, populated area in city centres, etc. But then you've got people that may live in, like, Cornwall or Dorset, Devon, or like areas where it's more rural, the Lake District, but they still would like to start a business. And it's maybe the location could sort of evidence what that looks like in different areas, the different opportunities, the different challenges, and just really like help people sort of broaden their knowledge and understanding of like what it looks like starting a business, and, you know, wherever they're located.
Yeah, hopefully one day that will happen.
Yeah. Good.
Mark, finally, just if anyone's interested to find out more and speak to you, what's the best way to make contact?
Visit one of our websites, activesportsgroup.co.uk. You'll be able to sort of find out much more about what we do, or contact us through there, really. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. Nice one. Cheers.